What's up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 5 of our Loose Ends Fantasy Podcast, a fantasy football podcast for average fantasy players by who, Jesse?
Average fantasy players
You
ourselves.
guessed it, I'm your host, Blake, but better known as your reigning undisputed drunken draft Dynasty League champion. And with me today, I have the pleasure of introducing my co-host, the black and gold behemoth, JJ, standing in at a staggering 6'7". When he walks into a room, you'd think the steel curtain itself just descended from the heavens. You already know he's got a terrible towel tucked into his back pocket at all times, even during job interviews. This is a man who dives headfirst into spreadsheets like Troy Polamalu diving over the line of scrimmage. Welcome, my guy, JJ. Say something to the folks.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in.
With us again today is Bestie, returning special guest, the tailgate finding, cheese curd loving, spotted cow bleeding, bratwurst fiend himself, my boy Shmee. Don't be surprised if you hear a few cheese-related metaphors like the cornerback's coverage is tighter than a cheese curd squeak. Shmee, say something to the folks at home.
Something to the folks at home.
We love that. What do y'all say we get this thing started? Time for kickoff?
Let's go.
Joey, hit that motherfucking intro. Welcome, guys. Super excited to have you guys back. We're going to jump into an overview of kind of how we're going to do things today. What's the deal with IDPs? That's the episode. We talked about it previously in a few episodes. Going over the IDPs, individual defensive players, and what they can mean to your league. Some things we're going to touch on today is some of the targets, some of the sleepers that we're looking at. You're going to get some insider trading advice from guys who have been in an IDP league for a couple of years now, and how they can really change the outcome of your team. We've had some guys in our league who have not had great fantasy rosters for offensive players, but have been saved by IDPs going forward. So I think that's some of the things we're going to touch on today. But before we do any of that, we had a teaser in the last episode. JJ, you brought up a trade specific to a player. You want to talk about that a little bit?
We talked about Brock Bowers and what the cost would be. And we were trying to reach out to Joey, our executive producer, to see what he thought.
I have that info now. Joey, our executive producer, had said the cost of Brock Bowers in its current state right now would be a first-round pick plus a starting tight end in our current league, given that we are a tight end premium league, or would be a future first-round pick plus the equivalent of a 104 or higher or equivalent player. Thoughts on that? I think we should start right now by taking it to the table.
Oh, let's go to the table, baby. Let's set the table.
Straight to the table. Let's set it. Everybody got a knife and a fork. Tuck the napkin in. Let's take it to the table. Brock Bowers, we're looking at a first-round pick plus a tight end, a starting tight end for this year. What do we think?
Hell no.
Okay, let's throw David and Njoku in there.
David Njoku plus a first-round pick?
Would you do that?
Shmee,
for Brock Bowers.
Shmee, right now, you have Brock Bowers on your team and you get offered a first-round pick plus David Njoku. Do you smash that like button?
I smash it till it breaks.
Absolutely. We hit accept, like, subscribe. We hit it all because that is a money trade for whoever's getting David Njoku plus a first-round pick. I think it is an overvalue in my own opinion, but Brock Bowers could turn out to be the next Travis Kelce. We have no idea. But I think given the trade that Jesse just said, we can all agree consensus. Complete that trade.
Complete that trade.
Yeah.
Love that. Let's move on to the IDP section of what we're talking about today, the bread and butter IDPs. Jesse, I'd love for you to get in, just kind of talk about how our IDPs are set up. Let the folks know.
Yeah, so with our IDPs, if an IDP player scores a touchdown at 6 points, sacks 3 points, we don't have any points for every yard that the defensive player sacks the quarterback. Is there any interest on doing that? Like adding a point for every yard or like half point? Can you do that? I don't know.
So I'd love to touch on that a little bit for those that are in an IDP league. IDP leagues get tough because your linebackers are predominantly your money makers in a league. I have yet to see a league that is able to add points to a league that is going to bolster the D line position and the DB position without making linebackers significantly more valuable. The reason that we have our league set the way we do right now, I think, is because if you add yardage, not only are you getting points for defensive linemen, for by adding the yardage per sack, you're also giving those points to linebackers as well and taking points away from DBs. Right now, I think is the
Oh,
the
okay.
biggest healthy balance that we have as far as those three positions across the board, without making one position much more valuable than the next.
Well, it's interesting because I'm looking at the. I'm sorry, I'll go through all of these, but I'm looking at the scoring for interception return yards, and it's 1 point for every 20 yards. I mean, that's not much, but
Yeah.
at least it's something. But we don't really give anything. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll continue. Hit on quarterback is 1 point. Tackle for loss is 2. Block punt, PAT, or field goal is 3. Interceptions 3. Like I said, interception return yards 1 point for every 20 yards. Fumble recovery is 3 points. Fumble return yards 1 point every 20 yards. Forced fumble is 3 points. Safety is 3. Assisted tackles 1. Solo tackle 2. Pass defended is 2. 10 plus tackle bonus 2. 2 plus sack bonus is 2 points. 3 plus pass defended bonus is 2 points. We have a 50 plus yard interception return touchdown bonus is 2 points. 50 plus yard fumble return touchdown bonus is 2 points.
Love that. So we've balanced out the bonuses and such. My own opinion, the reason that we went with the return yardage for DBs is to give the DBs that little extra incentive because they're predominantly going to be the guys with interceptions and things like that. And they're not usually tackle monsters. They're not really getting sacks, things like that. So that's why a couple of the IDPs that we'll talk about today are DBs that are tackle mongers. And you'll see that those are pretty much the guys that you want to be targeting in these leagues going forward. Without further ado, I'd like to jump into some of those targets as we move forward. But before that, Shmi, do you have any feedback on the IDP settings and how we have it set up?
I just want to add in the sack, tackle for loss, and hit on quarterback do stack. I was looking at Khalil Mack last year as week 4, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, ended the game with 62 fantasy points. So we had 36 from just sacks.
Love that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Predominantly, so if we go back and look at Khalil Mack in a position like that, we like to make sure that our IDPs are in a same relevance factor as somebody who has a breakout game as a wide receiver or a running back. If a wide receiver were to score 3 touchdowns and has 250 yards, they're going to score 40, 50 points, right? An IDP, someone like Khalil Mack, who's having 3 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, things like that, that is a game changing performance by an IDP. We want them to be rewarded in the same fashion. I don't want an IDP like um uh, like one of our Watt boys going in having a 3 sack game or a 3 sack 4 tackle for loss, two passes batted down, passes defended, getting 15 points when my receiver is getting 110 yards on 8 catches and getting 25 points. We want to make sure that our performances are equal across the board.
Yep. Yeah, and if anybody's thinking, oh, he got 62, that's so much, he ended the year with 293. So it is, like he's saying, one of those breakout crazy stat games.
Absolutely. Chandler Jones is another one you can look at that had a couple of games where he had, 30, 40, 50 points. He did it 3 times and still only ended the year with 210 points. Like, it's just breakout games are supposed to be rewarded. We're not supposed to be, only rewarding receivers and running backs. That's the whole reason for an IDP league. So, jumping into our targets, I'm going to jump into my first target. If you are in an IDP league, I think if you can get your hands on a DB that is relevant, yes, linebackers are king when it comes to IDP, but if you have a specific IDP position like we do in our league, the difference between a top IDP and a mid-tier IDP is a game changer. My first player that I would target is Cameron Bynum, the DB out of Minnesota. He's another one of those guys that is a tackle monger. He averaged 8 tackles per game last year, finished the season with 278 points, which is the equivalent to a high-end wide receiver, you know, high to mid tier running back, high tier running back. I think that's one of those guys that if you have a guy in a DB position that's putting up 278 points, that is a league changing performance for you and can, move you from 8th, 9th, 7th place to 6th place, can move you one place up. And I think that's one guy that I would definitely want to go target. Shmi, who do you have for a target going forward? Or does anybody want to make any comments on Cameron Bynum before we move forward?
Nah, I just don't like it's Minnesota. I feel like they always have a fucking defensive back that I just want to not be on the field. It's usually the white boy, though.
Harrison Smith, absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree with you. Jess, any thoughts on Cameron Bynum?
I like Cameron Bynum. I think that's a good target. Absolutely. 278 points for a DB is great.
JJ, go ahead and hit us with your first target.
So my first target is someone I've been targeting for the last 2 years, even though he's kind of suffered from injuries. That's Nick Bolton from Kansas City, middle linebacker. I absolutely love Nick Bolton, dude.
Dog. D-A-W-G. Dog. Woof. Woof. Dog.
I absolutely love him. I hope we can get some footage up. Joey, I'd appreciate that. Thank you so much, honey. I love him, man. I know he had suffered quite a few injuries last year, both his ankle and his wrist. But I am still in on this guy. He's 24 years old, man. He was just 2 years away from having 180 tackles. That's insane. This dude is a monster. And I want him if I can get him whatever price I'm willing to pay. But, man, it just sucks. I don't know. In our league, it's really difficult to get him.
Yeah, there are very few IDPs that are truly untouchable in the league, probably maybe 5 to 10. And he's one of those guys that for going into year 3 now has just been not even in a conversation piece, which is tough.
This will be his 4th year.
His 4th year. Shmi, any comments on Nick Bolton?
Yeah, straight dog. You said it. I mean, yeah. I got one more guy on that team later, but yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and hit us with your first player to target there, Shmi.
This is a guy I actually traded in our league, Brian Robinson, and a 2024 second for Terrell Bernard for the Bills.
That was a great trade.
Yeah. He's 2022, he had 23 points. 2023, 319 and change.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He's another one of those guys that's just tough. Flies around the field, young cat. I mean, he's a game changer for those guys over there. We love that. JJ, any comments about this gentleman? I mean, I do believe that he came from your team, correct?
That is correct, actually. No, I actually really loved Terrell Bernard. He took over the defense when Matt Milano got hurt last year. He had a season-ending injury. He was the guy, and he ended up scoring a lot of points. He had a lot of tackles. He was flying across the field. I loved it. He was in every play. So, kid's got a great motor. I can't wait to see what he's got left.
Love it. Shmi, why don't you go ahead and hit us with a second one right away?
Ooh, okay. We'll go with Derek Brown, D lineman for Carolina. I think he was one of very few D linemen to be over 100 tackles.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. We love that because any defensive lineman that is a tackle monger is always a great player to target because D linemen are not known to go get the tackle portion of things. They usually make their money on sacks and tackles for loss. So anybody that is on the D line that is able to not only create tackles, you know that there is potential for them to have tackles for loss. How old is he, Shmi, if you don't mind me asking?
Ooh, I just had it. I wanted to say 26, 27. I don't have him up right now. I have to find him again. We'll come back to it.
Good age for a D lineman as well. I love that. Jesse, any thoughts on Derek Brown?
I don't know a lot about Derek Brown. I have to do a little bit of research, but interesting prospect for a D lineman for our IDP. It's kind of hard to utilize D linemen.
Yeah.
My second target is going to be Ernest Jones. So Ernest Jones, linebacker
Oh,
from LA, from the Rams, kind of burst onto the scene, was unexpected. He is one of those guys that averaged about 9 tackles a game. He had 145 tackles, 294 points. I just think that in LA right now, they just lost Aaron Donald. We're going to see a few more runs get through to the linebacking core now, especially up the middle where he's going to be sitting and waiting. But he has, again, another guy that has a great motor, but his play recognition is off the chart. I mean, he seems to be in every play, and I really like that about him. I think he's definitely got to go target, and I think we'll see an uptick in that 145 this year. Shmi, thoughts?
No, you usually have pretty solid defensive players, so I can't really disagree with any of that.
JJ? Love
yeah.
that.
I want to say,
Fuck.
he was doing this, like scoring around 20 points a game with probably around 65% of the snaps. So yeah, I think I'm a big fan of him. If I can get him, I'll pay up.
Love that. JJ, go ahead and hit us with your second target.
Okay, my second target for IDP is actually a player of yours in our league, Aziz Al Shair. Oh man, this kid is amazing. Coming from Tennessee to Houston on a hot defense that is young and talented and ready to fucking win some championships. I feel it. I feel him coming. Um, he's 26 years old, and he's underneath head coach D'Amico Ryan, who I also have a lot of love for. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Aziz can do.
I love that you reminded me that I have him because I thought I traded him away. I am a trade whore, so I thought I traded him away. He's in a couple of trades, not because I wanted to trade him away, but because he has value. I agree. I think Aziz is a monster. He came from Tennessee, but he played with D'Amico previously, and I think D'Amico went and got him for a reason. Loves him. We'll talk about a sleeper that I have for Houston as well, which I think could take tackles from him, but I think Aziz is going to be a monster.
I have one as well from Houston.
All right, Shmi, go ahead and hit us with your third one.
Oh, okay. So I went with drinking the Kool-Aid for the McKinstry Ministry, D-back from New Orleans.
It's not cheese related, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts on him.
I mean, we run a sub 4.5, 4.4 with a broken toe. Okay, sold. I mean, you drafted.
Are you telling me you think he's going to be really Gouda? Just a thought. Jesse, what do you think about Kool-Aid McKinstry?
I think he's Gouda. I think he smoked Gouda, baby. I love him. I know he's coming off of is it an ACL injury? Anybody? We'll have to check that. But I know he had an injury. I think that's why he kind of fell in the draft. But I think he landed in a fantastic spot, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, he's going to be a monster on the field.
There you go.
There it is. If you had to give
cheesy bastards.
Kool-Aid McKinstry a flavor of Kool-Aid, what flavor would you give him?
I mean, there is only one. Yeah, there's only one flavor of Kool-Aid. It's great.
Grape. Yeah, that's my
You
favorite.
mean purple?
Yeah.
That
You
purple
mean
stuff.
purple? We love that. All right, Jesse, go ahead and hit us with your last one.
All right, Bubs. My last one.
Actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to cut you off.
Pivot.
I like
Pivot.
your last one. I like your last one the best, so I'm going to save the best for last. My third one going in here is going to be Antoine Winfield Jr. I talked about it a little bit. I think DBs can be a game changer if you get a solid DB. This is about as solid a DB as you can get. Talking Antoine Winfield Jr., 9.2 tackles per game, finished the season with 310 points. 310 points from a DB is an absolute fucking game changer if that dude is on your roster. If you can go get him, go get him. I don't know if he's available in our league. He sure as hell is not going to be available with our executive producer watching this episode as soon as we finish. Joey's probably not getting rid of him, but if you are listening
I'm
in,
interested.
and Antoine Winfield Jr. is available, go get that man. Thoughts from the peanut gallery?
I want him. Give him to me,
Yeah, he
Joey.
was he was one of the guys I was going to put on my list that wasn't currently on my team and wasn't named Kool Aid.
Oh.
Well, because his name's Kool-Aid. We love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, come on.
Excuse me, JJ, go ahead and hit us with that last target for IDPs.
So my last target is Bobby Okereke of the New York Giants. Listen, that offense. I don't know. I'm looking at the schedule. It doesn't look good for them. That defense is going to be on the field a lot, and I think that leaves a lot of opportunities for Bobby to repeat his performance that he had in 2023, which was 331.6 fantasy points. This dude's 27 years old. He's in the prime of his career. I want to see him up those numbers, baby.
Yeah, Bobby is a machine on the field. I can't say enough. I think he's. I said it best when you put him down. It's stupid. It is stupid how good he is. I think he's gonna just destroy in the same fashion that he's been. Shmi, do you have any comments about Mr. Bobby O Carrot Cake?
I will say Bobby. Okay, he is the breeze knees.
Yo, Breeze knees. We love it. I want to move into a couple of sleepers. We originally had this posted as rookies. There are some great rookies that came out of this draft class. Wasn't super heavy in the IDP realm. A lot of D linemen, couple of good DBs, few linebackers, but we switched it over to some sleepers. So that way, there are some guys that have yet to break out or are quietly breaking out slowly, and we want to touch on some of those sleepers. Shmi, if you want to go ahead and just kind of talk about all of the sleepers that you threw on this list right here, so we can make some comments about all of them.
Okay, we'll start off with the white boy, Cooper DeJean for Philly.
Nice.
He's drafted high for a reason. I was a little sad he didn't go in round one, trying to flip things up. But Philly notoriously has bad D backs, and I think they changed it up with him.
Okay, what do you think is going to be special about him in Philly that's going to make him fantasy relevant?
I mean, I think he's just what they've been missing. He's a straight up athlete. I mean, you watch the videos of him in basketball, fucking throwing down. He can move, he can cover, and he's gonna hit somebody.
Love that. All right, who's your second take for sleepers?
I'm gonna skip to my last one. We're gonna go with Matt Milano. I don't know if he's necessarily a sleeper. He had injury. He put up numbers when he's on the field, but he's another Buffalo guy. I mean, that linebacking core, they're gonna hit people. If they play in the winter, they're gonna cause some damage.
Okay, and who's your third one?
Third one, Wisconsin boy, also Kansas City, like I mentioned earlier with your Nick Bolton, is Leo Chenal.
Interesting. Why do you think Leo Chanel is going to be fantasy relevant?
He had some pretty huge plays in the playoffs that kept him in it and or got them the victory. So I think you're going to see an uptick in his play time. He's a solid Wisconsin kid, and he's, 23, 24? Something like that.
Where is he
So
playing for Kansas City?
I want to say he's like the outside linebacker edge rusher
Gotcha.
type. Yeah.
Love that. I think it's going to be interesting to see what Kansas City does, especially given that their DBs have vacated. So we'll see what happens in that secondary. I think a lot of teams are going to play Kansas City's defense a little bit differently. Now, obviously, Chris Jones signed with them again. Massive contract, good for him, well deserved. I'd be curious to see how that linebacking core is going to do over there. And I mean, it's tough because Nick Bolton is a thief when it comes to all things tackles. So I'd be curious to see how any other linebacker. Now, if he's coming off the edge, it'll be beneficial. So that's interesting. As far as Cooper goes, I mean, we have yet to see. I think I agree with you that uh, that defensive back core is lacking. So I hope that he comes out very successful in that realm. And Matt Milano, we'll see. We'll see how the injury history holds up. Jesse, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Cooper. I think that he landed on a great spot with the Eagles. They definitely needed a corner, but they also took Quinyon Mitchell, so I'm a little worried about that. But when it comes to man or zone, I'm not really sure where Cooper DeJean shines, but DeJean, I don't know. Chef Boyardee. I feel like I feel like I'm excited to see what he can do. Maybe if this kid can be a ball hawk, then he'll be successful for fantasy. Leo Chanel, I love Leo. Love Leo. That's a great sleeper target. And Matt Milano, I've actually had Matt Milano previously in our league. Big fan of him. That's why I picked up Terrell Bernard because I lost Matt Milano. But when he's back at full health, even when he's back at full health, I'm not worried about Terrell Bernard because I know that was one of your targets, Shmi. You traded me for him, so I think that both are going to produce, but it's kind of becoming like Terrell Bernard maybe taking over in that linebacker room, hopefully. But anyway, um, yeah, that's it. Matt Milano with his injury history, if he can just stay healthy, he'll be good.
Love that. JJ, go ahead and hit us with your sleepers.
My sleepers. So my first one is Dallas Turner out of Alabama.
Love
Minnesota
that.
traded Minnesota traded up for him. And I told you guys earlier before we started recording, we talked about it, and I told you guys like I love Brian Flores, defensive coordinator in Minnesota. I love Kevin O'Connell. Is that right? The head coach for Minnesota.
Yes.
I love that landing spot for him. I think he's going to be great. I know they just made a bunch of different signings and trades, but I truthfully feel as though he could be the man there. I love Dallas Turner. Um, my next one is Will Anderson. This is going into his second season. This is Defensive Rookie of the Year out of Houston with the Texans. This is a hot team, baby. Um, this kid is super athletic, monstrous, game wrecker. I cannot wait to see what we get from him in year 2, 3, 4. Going forward, I think he's going to be a great IDP. Um, Another one who I really love because I for some reason, obsessed with the Colts linebackers. I loved Shaq when he was there. Shaq Leonard went to the Eagles. Now he's no longer playing for anybody, but hopefully he gets signed. Anyway, Zaire Franklin, monster. EJ Speed. I think EJ Speed is going to see a lot more playing time. And with the short amount of playing time he had last season, he was able to produce some pretty incredible numbers and consistency. So I hope to see that only increase this year. And then Xavier McKinney. I absolutely love that Xavier McKinney went to the Packers. They needed another huge piece in their secondary, and now they're going to be even more of a threat going into late in the season playoffs. But that's when it counts for fantasy. The end of the season, right? Weeks 14, 15, end of regular season going into fantasy playoffs. We want those guys to be scoring those numbers, and I think that's what you're going to get from Xavier McKinney.
Love that. Shmi, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong this year with taking anybody on that Houston defense. Like you said, D'Amico.
I love it.
Xavier McKinney. Yep. Obviously, we need secondary. He's gonna move in real quick.
I think he fits well with Jair too. So.
Yeah. Dallas Turner, bad pick. Minnesota, I hate them.
Oh no!
I'm fucking with you. No, he's first round pick. I mean, he should
17th overall.
Yeah, and then EJ Speed. I mean, yeah, he should be fitting in pretty well in that Colts middle.
Love me some Will Anderson. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing not to like. Dallas Turner. We'll see. Time will tell. EJ Speed. You and I have had numerous conversations about him. I think anybody in that linebacking core seems to be successful. I think it's the way that they run that defense as well. I mean, we saw, like you said, Shaq was over there and left to go to Philly, where historically linebackers don't produce fantasy wise super well because they focus more on D line than linebacking core. We saw the product of that when he had left. I think it has everything to do with where he went as far as being in Indy. So I think that's going to be very successful for him. Xavier McKinney, I'm excited as a Green Bay fan to see what he is going to do. For me specifically, I have 4 sleeper targets. Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker out of Green Bay, rookie. I think that he was the consensus #1 linebacker. I think he's going to be a monster. He's going to be next to Quay Walker, who's 24 as well. Another guy who's not really a sleeper, but might want to look into as well. He's a beast. I think Edgerrin Cooper is going to be great in that defensive scheme. They went and got him for a reason. My second one is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He's linebacker coming off the edge guy in Cleveland. He's another guy that he's almost great, but his numbers don't show quite yet. But I think going in, he's another 24-year-old that's going to be great. Jalen Phillips, for those guys that are in an IDP league, if you can get that linebacker / D-line hybrid, he's going to be another guy that produces tackles. He was injured last year, and we are going to see an outbreak for him now that he's going to be 24, 25, but I think he's going to have a fantastic year. And the last guy for me is Christian Harris. Again, another D'Amico Ryan favorite. D'Amico Ryan loves Christian Harris. He produced well last season once he started getting up in the snap count, and I think there's nothing more to be expected from a young guy coming in that's just flying around the field. Jesse, what do you think?
So, Christian Harris, I love that. I'm thinking about Blake Cashman last year and his huge, like 30, 40 point games that he had. I think maybe not 40, but 30 points. Now he's gone, right? Went to Minnesota. So I feel like these young men in Houston under D'Amico Ryan are going to fucking eat. Jalen Phillips, I actually dropped Jalen Phillips. This is actually, can we talk about Jalen real quick? Because
we absolutely can.
We got to. It's not a table moment, but I had to make room for the rookies that I was about to take on for our rookie draft. So I dropped Jalen Phillips. And what happened?
I immediately went and got him. Immediately. And I mean, I put up free agency bidding money, immediately went and got Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, I missed him because of that money.
You didn't put up any money.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to take him.
No, neither of you put up any money. The only reason why Blake got it was because he had the higher waiver order than Shmi.
Don't fucking go to the bell. I don't even know how you had a higher waiver. You're on the waiver wire every single minute.
Dude, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know how you did that. I really
Sometimes the league just favors champions. You know what I mean? It's just when you're the undisputed reigning drunken draft dynasty league champion, sometimes you just are a winner. You know what I mean? And I thank you kindly for Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, Dick.
You're welcome. I hope he stays healthy.
Me too. I want to see what he can do. I hope he stays healthy.
I do too. I really do. I didn't want to drop him, but I had to make some room. Okay. I'd rather take some bets on some young running backs. Anyways, last one. Oh, okay. Owusu.
Yeah, that guy.
Koramoah. I love him. Actually. He's on the Browns. Sucks, but yeah, no, it looks like he can be someone that you can rely on for a couple of good matchups. So you just got to play the matchups with him.
Shmi, we'd rather see your blurry face than the K.
We'll try it. Okay.
It's okay. We can just say you're hiding because you're too beautiful.
Why don't you turn the light on?
Why don't you just mind your own damn business, Dad?
Why don't you figure out how to use technology? I would say technical difficulties, but Shmi's never going to figure it out. So we'll just enjoy the blurriest face ever.
Blurry.
The problem is my camera, if I move, it focuses on nothing. No, Edgerrin Cooper, obviously, cool beans. We got Packers again. Happy with that. Yep, J-O-K. I'm not going to pronounce that name right, so usually that means they're really good. Houston again. I mean, yeah, we can't say D'Amico's name enough today. And then Jalen Phillips, I think also not just because it's Jalen Phillips, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure he fits under the D-line linebacker position.
He does. He is a hybrid.
So you will be able to flex him and use essentially a linebacker as a D line, so you don't have to worry about trying to find a top D line.
Now, the hard part for me in my roster specifically is I have Michael Parsons. So that's a tough player to not want to play, but we'll see how that goes. We have about 5 minutes left before we jump into our outro. So I do have a couple of factor fantasy quiz questions for you guys if you guys
Ooh.
don't want to, jump off quite yet.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Shmi. We're going to put a giant logo over your face.
Oh, okay, that means I can keep trying to fix this until then.
So, what
You can't see.
in what year did fantasy football start?
Should we do it separately or
I'm gonna go 1993.
Okay.
1961?
It is actually 1962.
Fuck!
I knew
I
I
was
was so
way
close.
off.
I knew
That
I
was
was
it.
right there.
I love that. What was the
Why?
name of the first fantasy football league? I got 4 options for you.
Oh,
Was it the Greater Oakland Professional Pigskin Prognosticators League, the Worldwide Football League, the Paper Predictors for Football Players, or Paper Pigskin?
so I think I know the story behind this. I'm gonna go with A.
Uh,
I'm going with
A,
A.
okay.
8.
Shmi?
I'll take 3 just to be different.
Yeah, it is actually the Greater Oakland Professional
Yeah.
Pigskin Prognosticators League, which is a crazy name. Who is considered the father of fantasy football? Wild Bill Hickok, Hilmington Dover, Wilfred Bill Winkenbach, or William Rader?
Wilfred B. Wilkenbach.
God
Shmi?
damn it! Was that the first name?
That was the
third
last
one.
name.
That was the last name. Well, the last answer was the first one, so I would guess it would be the same one.
It is
But
Wilfred Bill Winkenbach.
Yeah.
Winkenbacher.
God damn it.
In
Christ.
2018, according to ESPN, who was the highest rated fantasy football player? Phil Simms, Brett Favre, John Madden, Todd Gurley.
Can you say that one more time?
What? Todd Gurley?
2018 ESPN top rated football player. Was it Brett Favre, Phil Simms, or John Madden?
Wait, in 18 they ranked them like over their
I
career.
don't
or
ask.
for
It was
the,
clearly
It's gotta
Todd
be Brett.
Gurley.
I was
Is
wondering,
it
like,
Todd? I was like,
yeah.
oh.
I like, were they just doing a thing for like the career in 2018, or is that
Yeah,
for
I'm so-
specifically
I
2018?
literally have no idea what's going on right
Well,
now.
yeah, obviously Todd Gurley's the only one playing.
Right, like just the craziest. What fantasy sport was played before fantasy football?
I'm gonna go baseball.
Baseball.
It's actually
Uh,
golf.
Oh,
I hate everything about
yeah.
life.
The rich man sport.
What quarterback was ranked the highest in 2018?
Tom Brady.
No.
Tom
I
Brady.
want to say Tom Brady doesn't historically rank in the top.
It's either Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
I was gonna say Rodgers, and I feel like that's wrong.
It is Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Yeah,
Right,
say Tom
who
Brady's always good.
is the highest scoring fantasy football player since 1995?
I'm gonna go LT.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
I think that's a. Oh.
There's only a few people I think that could beat him.
Oh,
One of which we
God.
might have just seen, and I feel like Blake would pick him just so he could brag about it because he's an ass.
Oh, I feel like it is. I don't know. Shit.
Just pick one of Blake's top players from last year, aka
You said-
his top player.
You said LT?
Mm-hmm.
It's not CeeDee Lamb.
It is not CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, good.
No. Fuck. Is it?
Because he got
It's
over
not
4.
Aaron Rodgers.
It is not Aaron Rodgers. It is not a
Damn.
quarterback.
Position?
Cooper Cup.
It is not Cooper Cup.
Shit.
It is Marshall Falk.
Oh, running back.
He had a monster season. This is a PPR league. He had a monster season. It is the highest fantasy recorded season since 1995.
Don't bring
I
up
love
the
that.
stats.
We had a couple of trivia questions in there. JJ, I would love for you to task our folks for a comment. What would you like them to comment this week?
Comment who you guys are looking at for targets in IDP. You know what I mean? Like who do you think is worth a shot or a roster spot or someone that you could take a deep shot on for, I don't know, daily fantasy sports, whatever you like to do.
Love that. A breakout player for this year. Aside from that, Shmi, anything for the people at home before we close up?
Get a better camera.
Absolutely. Jesse, anything for the folks at home?
Love y'all. Come back soon, please.
Like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing. We'll see y'all soon. Take care now.
Bye.